Alright, let's look at the one on the right first. Alright, so no changes at address, looks fine from this angle. You're actually not in a bad spot there, but you lose your width. What I mean by that, your arms and your chest don't get any width right there. See how the shaft lays down and gets around behind you? It's because of two reasons. Your wrist and your elbow go, watch your wrist and your elbow right here. See how they roll back that way?
Yeah.
So you know what it should do from right here, right?
Yeah.
The wrist angle should actually move that way,
right,
toward the right shoulder.
Yeah, I keep thinking about what you told me is that the angle should always point to the ball or inside, never outside.
Yeah.
And I think I'm doing it, but I guess obviously I'm not.
So when you get to here, you're actually okay.
Yeah,
right
looks
there.
great. Yeah.
But now your right elbow and your wrist have got to go up plane and versus
And I
around.
do that versus.
Yeah, well, let's look at it from this angle. You can see right there where the shaft is here, and now it reroutes. See it reroute?
Right.
All right. You're just a little late sometimes getting your arms back in front of you, and that's because of this move right there. Because now you got to reroute it. Watch.
Right.
That's it. So you really never do get that right arm in a position to lever down. What I mean by that is, and we talked about this last time. All right, so first thing is we need more space, right? You can tell up underneath between his arms and his legs, you can see this big old square right here. I don't see much in there.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure you keep the space in your arms and your hands.
When I first start my setup, is this space good?
On this particular one, it was better in the beginning than it ended up, but
Still
I didn't.
Still not good enough.
Yeah, it still needs to be more space than that.
Okay. All right.
Still
Geez,
just.
I've been really diligently working on that in alignment.
And if you just get your arms away from your body, your spine angle is not that bad. All right, so to here we said, okay, we can live with that position so far. All right.
It's easily perfect.
Yeah. So again, that's okay right there. I mean, your legs, your spine angle's the same, your wrist angles are the same, the face is the same, the shaft's the same, everything's the same.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got to go up the wall.
Right.
So you'll watch his arms and his shoulders keep moving straight up to the right shoulder. And yours starts moving that way.
Starts turning.
Well, that right elbow just gets so stuck to your body right there, which creates that shaft to flatten. Because y'all's arms have moved the same amount right now, and his right elbow's up, yours is back.
Mm-hmm.
Your wrists have actually gone this way.
Yeah.
His have gone more up plane.
Right.
His thumbs are going there, your thumbs are going there. That's why the shaft's laid off. So as you get to the top, you're going to reroute it. And you don't get to a bad position, but you lose the levering of the right elbow and the wrist angle. Look at the difference. That's the top of his swing, and that's the top of yours right there.
Right.
You can see how the club's kind of moving around in your hands
Right.
as you're rerouting it. The only difference that's going to happen, because your club head, shaft, and hand plane is going to be very similar to his. Very similar to his. The difference is that his right arm is in front of his body and yours is stuck behind you.
Right.
So that's why you hit some shots thin to the right, because if your arm's stuck behind you, it's hard to get the handle forward because you're in the way, right?
Right.
Your hips are in the way of your arms.
Yeah. See,
His arms are in front of his body. Again, the head and the shaft is good, but now your arms are stuck. So now you kind of have to flip it. And that's why it gets, to me, it gets too inside left, and you come out of posture here just to hit it. That's why you hit some thin. That's why you see your left elbow first, because you're pulling the club this way, right?
Yeah.
Watch the extension through impact here. his right shoulder stays underneath his chin
Yeah.
until he catches turf.
Rotates, yeah.
He keeps his arms and his chest and his hips rotating all at the same pace. You're not going to see his left elbow till way into the finish. Right there.
Yeah.
That's when you first see it. You see yours with your club.
Right.
You can tell your right shoulder is popped up out of posture
Yeah.
this way, and he stays more this way. His right shoulder stays under, and yours is coming up. But that's because you don't have enough room. You're trying to get out of your own way. All right, so don't fuss at yourself here. I would say the same thing if you were Rory McIlroy talking to his coach at the same time. You will work on the same 1, 2, or 3 things your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just. I have a kid that just won the Big 12 championship, and he's 5'4.5", 150 pounds soaking wet. Number 2 player in the country behind Spieth when they graduated from high school, and went to Oklahoma State and persevered like crazy. And I've worked with him since he was in the 7th grade, and I'm telling you this success story for a reason. He and I had worked together now, I think this is the 9th year, and right before the tournament, he had to qualify to go to the tournament. His coach wouldn't put him in the top 5, yet he finished 4th in Erin Hills, one of the toughest golf courses in the country where the U.S. Open is. Because the coach, and he's a 4.0, never drank, never smoked, great kid.
Jeez.
Because they don't think that he hits it far enough, yet he averages about 294 off the tee. He hits a 700 about 174. He ain't short, right? He's just short in stature. I could show you a swing on here. I just posted it on my Facebook page. We have worked on the same 3 things for 9 years.
Really?
He has not, I'm not saying that it's not good. He just shot 6 under on toughest golf course in the state. Beat the number 1 ranked player in the world, amateur, Bo Hostler of Texas, by 1. And he posted on his Facebook page, number 1, most good players, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, they've had the same coach for how long? 20 years.
Right.
And they'll all tell you the same thing. We never deviate from the same 1, 2, or 3 things we work on. We typically find, what's my biggest weakness at a dress? Well, you know what yours is. There it is, right?
Right.
All right, so how long is it going to take you to master that? You got to keep working on it every time you play.
Well, the thing
You have
that's
one
upsetting
setup?
is setup is easy, to me, because I mean I can see it. It's static. So I think I'm doing it, and I'm surprised, honestly.
Okay, so number 2, you know that's the
Yeah.
change we're trying to make.
Right.
We're trying to get the club to, when it gets to here, to go under up.
Right. Now that's a little harder for me to feel because sometimes I
Well,
feel
I'm
like
going to put you next to that door in a minute, and you're going to have to go right up the wall.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to come up with something
Yeah.
that gives you an awareness, because if I had a wall right behind your butt, you just busted the wall.
Yeah.
His stays moving up the wall. His club never gets behind his body, and his arms never get outside of that triangle you're talking about. You can see that
Yeah.
triangle of his body. I'm going to give you a coat hanger in a minute, and you're going to see that wherever that hook in the coat hanger, if you roll, the coat hanger is going to go like this.
Right.
Well, we got to keep the coat hanger hanging up on the rack. It's got to
Right.
be up here.
All right.
So you can tell his arms and his triangle, when he gets to this position, is going up the plane that way. His right elbow is working up. The club never got behind his body, and when you get to this point, there it goes.
Yeah, I'm just
So it
way
tips
off.
over.
I mean, it's
All
way off, isn't it?
All right, so his club never got behind his butt line. And look where yours is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So all we have to do is change these angles where your right elbow is up here,
Right.
your left arm is up here, and the shaft is going this way.
Right.
Because you can't feel it. That's your natural motion.
Right.
All right, so now you haven't really created, in my opinion, the right leverage in your wrist and your elbows, because they're too far around. His left arm is above his shoulders, yours is below.
Right.
All right, so now you're going to start steep first. See how the club's steepened?
Yeah.
Because your right elbow is like this, right?
Right.
His will never get in that position because his right arm will always be underneath the shaft. That's why, see, his right arm is moving underneath him. That's what makes the shaft shallow out, right? Is your elbow going like this.
Right.
You do that in the beginning. So now you have to change it back to steep, right? So that's the part we got to change in the backswing, that in time, even though your club is in a similar position, your arms are not in a position where you can get the handle to create the proper angle of attack.
Right.
Right now, you've got to play catch up because your arms are behind your body.
See, I feel that just a fraction late or a fraction,
Well, that's good that you can feel it though.
Yeah.
That's part of the learning process.
Right.
Because that's why sometimes you don't compress the ball. That your bad shot to me is always thin right,
Yeah.
low on the face right, because your arms are behind your body. You didn't catch up. Now you'll try to flip it back. You watch your hands here. You're trying to flip it back on the target line.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like
more,
you say, I watched on that video too. You show me where I'm up.
you're
I'm,
popping out of
yeah,
posture.
I'm not keeping my posture.
He's
It's
staying in
yeah,
his
look at
posture
him,
and
it's
just turning.
Amazing, yeah. Just rotating.
Yeah, I was showing one of my really good web.com players the other day. I was showing him.
So is this kid you're talking about? Is he gonna turn pro or?
I don't think he will. He's such a good kid and good student, and
To have a game like that?
he loves college.
Is he?
All right, here's Tiger. I could tell you a longer story than that. He was going to transfer. I'm saying this on your tape. You could send it to the coach. The coach that recruited him, McGraw, who had won, I don't even know how many national championships at Oklahoma State. Coach Ricky Fowler in that group. But anyway, long story short, his coach just wouldn't play him. Couldn't figure out. He'd go out and win the qualifier, and the coach wouldn't even play him. He was the second best player on the team. There was only one player on the team better than him, and he's a first-team All-American. So anyway, right before the conference tournament, about 10 days ago, the coach called him in his office and said, "I'm not taking you to the conference." He said, "Then it's time for me to transfer. I need to go somewhere else."
The kid said that?
I mean, he
Good for him.
finally stood up and said, "I can't do this anymore. I beat the 3, 4, and 5 guys every single qualifier, and I never get to go to the tournament. I don't understand."
Do you think the coach was trying to motivate him, or?
This has been going on for 2 years.
Oh, man.
He's a redshirt sophomore. Yeah, he was ranked number 2 in the country behind Jordan, and he was good. So he was a first-team high school All-American.
Is he going to transfer?
So anyway, he goes in the office and said, "If I'm not playing, it's time for me to look at a different school." Coach McGraw's already told me that I have a spot at Baylor. If I want, Baylor's like 4th in the country.
Yeah.
And the coach thought about it, and he left his office. And about 30 minutes later, he's out on the practice range, and he walked up to him and he said, "Okay, I got a proposition for you." He said, "I only want one request." This is Stratton, the kid. He said, I want an 18-hole qualifier today with your 4 and 5 guy. Winner take all. They beat me, they go. If I win, I go."
Wow. Good for him.
He shot 64 in
Okay.
Stillwater on the toughest golf course in the state, right? He beat the number 4 guy by 12. Yeah, he shot 76.
How can a coach argue with that? I mean,
So
my goodness.
he puts him in at number 5, right? In the tournament. There's only 5 kids. They only take 4 scores in each day. It's a 4-round conference tournament. It's at Whispering Pines, one of the toughest golf courses in the state. The coach walked up to him and he said, "Don't get complacent because you're on the team. Doesn't mean that you're going to go to regionals or nationals." And it made him so mad, he goes out and shoots the low round of the day. Shot 2 under the first day. So anyway, going into the last day, all the coaches from Oklahoma State, the football coach, head basketball coach, the volleyball coach, the soccer coach, head ladies basketball team coach, they all got in the Oklahoma State private jet and flew down there and followed him the whole 18 miles. Because he was 1 shot out of the lead going into the last day. So anyway, going into the back 9, he was tied with 2 first-team All-Americans, including Bo Hostler, number 1 in the country. And so anyway, then he birdies 14 and 15, takes a 1-shot lead, and pars 16, 17, and 18, wins by 1. I mean, I could show you the video. It's amazing. So, I mean, the press is eating this story up. He goes in at number 5. He beats their number 1 player, first-team All-American, beats number 1 player in the world, amateur-wise, who's turning pro, Bo Hostler, and the number 2 player in the country from TCU, and beats him by 1. I mean, but he still wins. He wins the tournament. And so now you'll see something in the paper Thursday, I promise you. You'll see a story. I wrote an interesting article yesterday about the trials and tribulations of, college golf, or it could be high school golf, or even a tour player, aspiring tour player. It's amazing that, especially in college, that a coach can dictate whether you get to play or not.
Yeah, the tours are pretty pure in that if you qualify